Hi, I'm Chef Jonathan Collins. Welcome to my kitchen. Join me for 6 exciting episodes of Cuisinart Culinary School, and I'll prove you're not too busy to cook. Using only the freshest and best quality ingredients. Equipping your kitchen with stylish accessories and must-have gadgets, inspiring a return to the table. I'll teach you passionate, healthy, and simple cooking for your family.
So what we gotta do is we gotta
answering questions about ingredients, techniques, recipes, and tools. Master French culinary basics, and you'll always cook with confidence. Every week, you'll have a chance to watch and win one of these powerful kitchen tools, all thanks to Cuisinart. One of the most important things I can teach you about meat and poultry is food safety. It's critical that when you're handling meat, you make certain not to handle tools and other products afterwards and get a good hand wash in between. I'm going to show you 2 ways to prepare chicken. The first is roasting, the next is braising. Let's start with the roasted chicken. A perfect roast chicken is going to need some decent seasoning on the outside. First with salt, then I've got a little bit of olive oil, black pepper. It's a big, thick piece of meat, so we want to make sure we get plenty of seasoning. I'm going to put some lemon zest right on top. This is my lemon thyme chicken. So you get that beautiful fragrance from the lemon. And then what I'm going to do, we won't waste this lemon, we'll slice it in half, and I'm going to press it right into the cavity so all of that beautiful, intense lemon flavor gets throughout the chicken. I'm going to season the cavity with some of my herb salt. Perfect. And inside the lemon thyme, half of 1 lemon. And I'm just going to give that a bit of a squeeze. And then in it goes. Perfect. Now, quick hand wash. It's important to wash your hands between each time that you handle raw meat before you touch any of your tools or any other food to prevent cross-contamination. Now to finish this up, I'll put some of this lemon thyme right on top, and that's going to give the chicken an incredible aroma. Drop that in the pan. I'm going to throw that other half of the lemon right in. Now this is going to go into a 375-degree oven. It'll take about an hour to cook. I want to make sure I throw lots of heat on it. It's going to go on convection bake. That started and away, and now I'm going to show you how to break down a chicken very simply. This is a beautiful free-range chicken, and the chicken is in some simple parts. We have legs and thighs, also the wings and the breasts. It's going to come apart so quickly you want to do this yourself. You start off by running the knife through and alongside the leg, and you can just press it back, and when you do, it reveals a joint, and you just simply run the knife straight through that joint, and you've already got a leg off. Let's turn, and we'll do the other side again. Again, revealing the joint, and run the knife cleanly through that joint, and you've got a second leg. Turning it over, we can remove the wing by slicing just underneath the joint again, and hyperextending it just a bit to get the knife underneath. There's our wing, and a second wing, same thing, right underneath. Hyperextend that joint, slice through, perfect. Now, for the breasts, we want to run the knife right down the breastbone. And you can feel with the knife and press back right off the breastbone, and then slice your knife straight through. Lift it up, and you've got a perfectly finished breast. On the second, again, pressing back against that breastbone. And again, run your knife cleanly through. And there you've got 2 breasts 2 wings, and the legs. And all I want to do now with the legs is just separate that thigh. So I'm just going to go to the joint, press through, find that joint, and run the knife through cleanly. The leg and the thigh have now been separated. One more time, find the joint, run the knife through cleanly. We've got a drumstick and a thigh again. That's 8 pieces going into this hunter-style chicken or chicken cacciatore. After a quick wash up, I'm going to season the chicken, but just before I do, I've got a 400-degree slow cooker. And the slow cooker is going to employ a cooking technique called braising. Braising is cooking meat in a small amount of liquid covered over a long period of time. So I've got some butter in. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. This is just building a flavor base. Next, we're going to season the chicken right on the board. Salt, pepper, and these are all going to go in skin side down. And what happens is, you can hear that sear already. What happens is I begin to develop flavors. And that's a critical thing when you're braising. You could toss everything into the pan. The problem is that you just won't get the development of flavor. And I'm going to show that to you. There's going to be browning of the chicken. There's going to be browning of the vegetables. With all of these in, I don't want to overcrowd the Cuisinart cooker, but this one is good and powerful, so I'll be able to sear off all this meat and have some really, really good flavor development. Now I'm going to season the second side as well with both salt and pepper. And just a quick note, now that this board has been used for raw chicken, I want to make sure that I use bleach 10-to-1 with water so I can sanitize it. Soap and water after that, and then it's safe to dry and put away. Now that the chicken has had about 5 minutes to saute, you can see that gorgeous golden brown. I'm going to turn it all over, and as I do, the second side will begin to caramelize and brown. And what that is again, development of flavor. Remember, the reason we're roasting these with all of the bones is the bones bring out intense flavor as they begin to reduce, and as this dish braises, we're going to get really incredible flavor development. With both sides nicely browned, I'm going to fish out all of these pieces that are just, you know what, honestly, they'd be just perfect to eat right now. But we're going to take it to a whole other level. This hunter-style chicken uses some really simple ingredients in a powerful way. We're leveling flavors because we want to make sure that it's developed in the pan. So rather than just tossing in these vegetables in their raw form, we're going to throw some of them in the bottom and begin to saute them. It's going to release some of the astringency in the onion. It's going to develop some flavor in the peppers. And then I've got these beautiful herbs to go in. I've got fresh thyme I'm putting in whole. And I'm going to strip off these beautiful fresh oregano leaves, adding those to the base. We're going to let that saute for a couple minutes and then put the chicken in on top. These vegetables have developed so nicely now. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Now the chicken can go back in, and on top of the chicken, all of the rest of the ingredients. I've got diced tomatoes, gorgeous. Got the rest of these mushrooms, very nice. These rings of pepper, which are just beautiful. I'm doing the rings because I like to see what ingredients are in a dish. I don't want everything to be hidden. Layering these flavors on top of each other and having that all melt down is exactly what braising is all about. White wine, nice pour, depending on how much you want to reserve for yourself, and some stock. And I'm going to top it with just a little bit of tomato sauce. Beautiful. Little shot of salt and pepper. And the great thing about slow cooking, I put the lid on, I set this for 3-4 hours, I set it, I forget it. When I come back, I have beautiful chicken cacciatore. Oh, this roast chicken is just perfect. And that's the difference between roasting and braising. You can see here the texture of this chicken. It's crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. So roasting is a lot of hot air blowing around, convection baking, or just straight baking. But look at the results. Look at how gorgeous this is. And you can imagine these results at home are so simple. Look at all we did. A simple seasoning and stuffing, throw it in the oven for 60 minutes at 375 degrees, and it's perfect. Let's have a look at this chicken cacciatore. Oh, the smell coming out of that pan is incredible. I'm just gonna pull a few pieces out here, show you what these bites of beautiful chicken look like. For some reason, this combination of peppers and onions and mushrooms is perfection. Look at that. Oh, it's so good. I wanna get a taste of one of these. Gorgeous. I'm just gonna take, the nice thing about slow cooking is you always develop a sauce in the pan, especially in these slow cookers. What happens is all of those flavors concentrate over time. Give this plate a quick wipe. Oh, gorgeous. Let me grab a little bite here. Oh, hot. Mmm. Now that we've roasted chicken over a long period of time, I want to show you how quickly you can roast a rack of lamb. I'm going to do it with fresh parsley, fresh rosemary, and fresh mint. Those three together are perfect with lamb. Directly into a food processor to make short work of them. I've already taken them off the stems, so I'm dropping in the mint and the rosemary, also the parsley. I'm going to press those down inside. I'm going to turn this into a thick paste that'll coat it just beautifully. Some extra virgin olive oil, a few good glugs, and I've got this gorgeous grain mustard with Dijon, and it is just perfect with lamb. Also, beautiful fresh garlic, 3 cloves in. Let's give this a turn. Look at that, how beautiful that comes together. Just gonna press it down a little bit. And now that it's started to come together, I'm gonna put a few breadcrumbs in. I've got panko breadcrumbs. You can use just dry breadcrumbs. I like the texture of the panko. It's nice to change things up a little bit. It gives a nice crunch when it roasts at 450 degrees. One more turn. And that is perfect. Now I've got 2 racks here. They've already been Frenched, so all the connective tissue has been separated from between the bones. And I'm gonna go directly in a pan, oven-safe pan. Remember, it's gonna have to take a lot of heat at 450 degrees. I'll put half on one and half on the other. Now I'm just going to work this into the surface, and I just want to get a nice coating. You can see how it begins to coat just like a paste. So these 3 herbs together can really stand the heat, but as a combination, what they do, because the lamb is pretty intense, you need something with some intense flavor to stand up to it. Otherwise, it just gets completely hidden. Now, just a quick season, and these will be ready for the oven. I'm using that beautiful herb salt we made in the earlier episode. A little bit of black pepper. And these are ready to go in. Now, after just a few minutes in the oven, look at the spectacular result. Now, one of the things that I want to do right away is cut into this beautiful lamb. but it's important to give it a couple minutes. Anywhere from 25 to 30% of the cooking time, let it rest, let it relax, let those muscles settle down so that when you cut into it, you won't lose all of that beautiful juice. Only 10 minutes in the oven and 2 to 3 to rest, and we've got a beautiful rack of lamb, foolproof every single time with these results. And perfect finish. Is there anything more satisfying than a good hamburger? I've got some chuck here that's ready to be ground. I picked up a powerful Cuisinart grinder at Home Outfitters. This is the kind of machine that can get the job done quickly and can give you unbelievable results. Let me show you how it works. Simple flip of the switch, and in goes the cubed ground chuck. 4.5 pounds, and about a minute later, and we are ready to make hamburgers. Keep in mind, this grinder will do pork, it'll do venison, beef, veal, anything. But look at the texture and look at the color. It's absolutely gorgeous. Makes burger making fun. Now that that's finished, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I had a beach restaurant, and we must have served about 10,000 burgers. And the recipe was shallots, finely chopped. Shallots have the essence really of onion and garlic, so it's a nice combination. Then fresh thyme, beautiful fresh thyme leaves. You don't want too much. When you use really good beef, you don't want to cover up the flavor, but this will accentuate it beautifully. And then it's really important to season it. Seasoning it beforehand will bring out that natural flavor, but you won't need a lot of salt. So I'm just gonna add a bit now, and I'm gonna start kneading this together. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. It's important also not to overwork the beef. If you overwork it, it'll become almost sinewy. It'll become stretchy and a little bit tough. And by the way, you'll see no eggs and no breadcrumbs in this recipe. It's not necessary. I'm going to use Dijon mustard as a bit of a liaison, and it gives it really nice flavor. So a good bit of Dijon. And now I'm just gonna start working these together. Now that this has come together nicely, just a light drizzle of olive oil. And as I begin to make the hamburgers, I want to shape them and form them by using a uniform size in my hand. It's about the size of a baseball. And that'll give me about 5 ounces to 6 ounces, nice big burger. And I'm just using the palms of my hand, working the beef together just slightly, squeezing it, and then pressing. You can press down on a board, just like this. Turn it once, press again. You want to make sure you get it flattened out so that as it cooks and begins to shrink a little bit, it won't shrink off the sides of your buns. These burgers are just perfect. I'm going to top them off with some gorgeous cheddar cheese, and then I'm going to finish the perfect hamburger. Let's start assembling. I've got this really cool bib lettuce that's grown right in the blister pack. So it means it's fresh all the time. So let's put some lettuce on the bottom. Let's get one of these bad boys. Some of these beautiful mushrooms we've sauteed. Oh, so good, it smells so good. Some onions. Couple pickles. Beautiful, beautiful. And let's not forget the bacon. Now that is a hamburger, one to be proud of. Steak au poivre, or pepper steak, is the perfect way to finish this section. It's a simple preparation that has incredible flavor. I've got a pan that's just coming up to temperature now, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by putting some pepper on. Now I could take whole peppercorns, black peppercorns, grind them either in a food mill or press them maybe with the corner of a pot. to get a nice crack. But this great pepper mill from Home Outfitters has an adjustment on the end, allows me to do a perfect cracked pepper, large in size, because that's the one thing about steak au poivre. It's got that potent, heavy pepper, and what happens is by sautéing it, it mellows it, and adding the cream balances it out really nicely. So you're gonna say, stop, chef, but I'm saying, no, we need more pepper. So lots of pepper, and now a bit of butter in the pan. I'm gonna use about a tablespoon, and that's away. I'm gonna turn this heat up. I'm gonna use a good extra virgin olive oil to bring up that smoke point a little bit. Need lots of fat in the pan. Just gonna move that around a little bit. You can see those bubbles developing right away. It's perfect. Now I've got some coarse salt, coarse sea salt. Whenever using large, thick proteins, it's nice to have the coarse salt. It's gonna penetrate more deeply. Now these are ready to go in the pan. When you put them in the pan, you wanna gently slide them in the pan so that you don't splash it on yourself. You get that sear right away. Now you're gonna want to check this. You're gonna want to look in on it, to pick it up. It's sticking to the pan right now, but what you need to do is leave that be. We're only gonna do 2 turns with this. Leave it in the pan until about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. It'll be ready for the last turn and the finish. It's time to put pepper on the second side, just as much as on the first. Completely cover these beautiful strip loin steaks. They've got incredible marbling, which means all the fatty connective tissue runs throughout the meat, giving it incredible flavor. These are perfectly ready for the turn now. I've developed that beautiful crust on the outside. Now we're gonna saute this second side for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then deglaze and add the cream. Once both sides are complete, take about an ounce of brandy in a shot glass, not in a bottle for safety, drop it right into the pan and let the flames out of the kitchen. With the pan deglazed, I can now put in that whipping cream. The 35% cream in the hot pan is going to reduce in a matter of seconds. The nice thing about this particular dish is that it's the perfect balance of heat and richness with that beautiful beef flavor. I finished this with just a small pat of butter. Roll that around in the pan. You can see what we've developed is a perfect pan sauce that was simple and effortless. I know when it's finished when I can see there's a little bit of a glossy hue to it, and let's have a look at what that looks like on top of these beautiful steaks. Gorgeous. These recipes mean that you'll never have to go to a restaurant again to get the dishes that you love.